Read a smile behind my mask. How long will it last? Stimulus going fast. Government won't act. How long will this be going on? Aloha. This is Skye, your soulful progressive with FNN, Feminist News Network, that feminist news that's right for you. Welcome to Skye in the AAPI room, giving you that soulful news you need, yes indeed. And if you haven't liked or subscribed to get that soulful news that soulful way, well, honey, you gotta get it today. I know that's right. Now, what is it I want to talk to you about? What is going on? The Asian hate. They're calling it AAPI to include Pacific Islanders. Now, being in a Pacific Island state in Hawaii, you have the minority of people that are black and other Hispanic, while the majority of people in this state is Asian American, Pacific Islander, and white. Now, a lot of the Asian Americans over here take on white privilege. So some of them, where in the mainland you may get racism of minorities against Asians in a small rate, but over here it's in reverse, where you have a lot of Asian Americans that take on that white privilege, also have racism toward African Americans, Hispanic Americans, and others. But there's also a percentage of indigenous, local, Asian Pacific Islanders that live here that are basically racist toward white people. So you got a variant of mixtures of hate going on within my own state. Now, in regards to what happened in Atlanta with the shooting of 8 people that died, with one seriously injured in the hospital in serious condition, Mr. Ortez, and 6 women of Asian descent, one being Caucasian women, died with one Caucasian man. This is obviously a hate crime, a racist crime. The FBI is denying it. That's wrong. The FBI will not recognize it as a racist hate crime when we know that is. The boy can't say, I didn't do it, I wasn't racist, and then that be so by the police. And the police from that county that the boy was caught in has been taken off as a spokesperson because he said he had a very bad day, and come to find out he had racist rhetoric on his social media. I think it's Andrew Yang that says it best. Because see, if you allow me to rant on, it's gonna last forever. Because there's a whole lot of variances going on here, but it's most definitely hate. Hate. Some of the stuff like this Zeddy guy said on the Hill is wrong. It depends on your politics with some of these states, depending on your hate. Let's be real about this. Those Trumpian Southern Republican racist leaning toward tendencies, they're going to be more against it. And it isn't people crying they don't understand. They understand. They understand what type of hate they're throwing out. And it's in the other cities too, as mentioned by Andrew Yang's wife. It's just racism, point blank. Now, let's hear it from Andrew Yang and what he says, because, like I said, I think he says it's best as told up in New York with the National Action Network and Rev Sharpton and them. And then we're going to discuss and end it.
Action Network for bringing us together today. It's been a heartbreaking and devastating time in the Asian American community. Some of you know I spent weeks campaigning in Atlanta, in Georgia, for Reverend Warnock and John Ossoff. I met so many people in the Asian American community in Atlanta. They're such wonderful parents and brothers and sisters who just wanted a decent life for themselves and their children. And seeing these 8 people lose their lives, 6 of them Asian women who their families will never see again, it's heartbreaking. I've been Asian all my life, and I remember vividly growing up with this constant sense of invisibility, mockery, disdain, a sense that you cannot be American if you have an Asian face. But this has metastasized into something new and deadly and virulent and hateful. It's infuriating when the authorities question a 21-year-old madman as to his motivations, when we can see clear as day that if you go into an Asian business in an Asian community, you know exactly who you will find behind those doors. And in this case, the people whose lives you will end. We're here to talk about solidarity, and I'm so grateful to Reverend Sharpton because the Black community has suffered from something that I believe that many Asians are experiencing for the first time, again, as the sense of our place in America has always been questioned, but now it is something different. It is dehumanization. Is that I believe that this young man did not see his victims as human beings. I believe that the person who punched the Chinese restaurant worker for no other reason than his race, the person who shoved the middle-aged Asian woman to the ground brutally in Flushing, disfiguring her, the person who poured acid on the face of the elderly Asian woman in downtown Manhattan, I don't believe that they saw their victims as human beings. And this process that Reverend Sharpton and National Action Network have been working on for decades is what we need more than ever, is a process of humanity. It's a process of seeing that Asian Americans are human beings. Asian Americans are just as American as anyone else. And we have to start in our own lives. There are many things that our government should be doing differently. We should be categorizing these incidents as hate crimes, which we clearly know that they are. We should be fully funding the Asian Hate Crimes Task Force right here in New York. This is not something that volunteers can address. We need to build bonds of connection and trust with the Asian American community because as terrible as the statistics are, they understate the magnitude of the problem. There are dozens, hundreds of incidents that we have never heard from the victims on, and I know this because I've talked to some of those victims. But the biggest thing we can do is really in our own lives to humanize each other. And Jamani Williams is here today. I'm going to take a page from his book, which is just to try and greet someone in your own life that you would not greet otherwise. If you can do that, then they will see you as human, you will see them as human, and in that way we can rebuild our community and try to put these incidents behind us instead of in front of us. Thank you, Reverend Sharpton. Thank you, National Action Network, and thank you, my fellow candidates.
I know you heard that. He said that the Asian community is now feeling and sensing what the black community has been going through all along. And Andrew Yang is smart enough to say this because he is working with Martin Luther King Jr. He was working and walking the streets in Atlanta, meeting other people, the Southern Asians that live down there. And when he ran for president, he got to see people of Asian descent all across America. He understands the plight. So when he says we need to humanize this situation and let people know that all lives matter, including Asian lives, including black lives, including indigenous lives, and stop anything that Trump's hate has not just stroked the flames and heightened what was already simmering below, but made it worse. When we need more education and more love and more understanding. Education, love, and understanding, this is what will help combat racism. And having a police force that will condemn it and hold them to account when they lock them up instead of giving them water and a burger and helping them out, and having an FBI that calls them non-racist and to see it for what it is. And if you agree, leave those comments below and let me know at FeministNewsN@gmail.com. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and the Facebook page. And remember, I'm that Soulful Progress one on Twitter, got that rant of the day on Blogger, and I have the news crew. Thanks for joining. Thank you for helping me get to 600. I appreciate you. Mahalo. And if you care to donate, I got that Venmo now. Yeah. So remember, in this era of hate, you're going to have to participate. Because if not, there's going to be more hate all over this place. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining. Peace. See the smile behind my mask. How long will it last? Stimulus going fast. Government won't act. How long will this be going on? I'm standing here in line.